Hello, my friends. Welcome back to English 1 Pod. In today's episode, we are going to talk about a problem that so many English learners suffer. You probably know this feeling well. You know a little English. You understand many words. You can read. You can listen. But when it's time to speak, your mouth becomes slow. Your mind gets crowded, and suddenly you pause a lot. You want to say something simple, but your brain works too hard. You search for words. You worry about grammar. You try to form a perfect sentence. And because of that, your speech loses its fluency. So today, we will say how you can speak English without pausing too much. We want to say how you can think faster and speak English faster. Not in a tense way, not in a rushed way, but in a smoother and more natural way. So, this episode is for you if you often say, "I know English, but I can't speak fluently." This episode is for you if you pause in the middle of a sentence. And this episode is for you if you want to be calmer while speaking. So, take a deep breath, relax, and let's begin. Okay, let me start with something very simple. Pausing is normal. Please remember this, even native speakers pause, even confident speakers pause. Even people who speak very well sometimes pause for a moment and think. So, the goal is not to become a robot. The goal is not to speak very fast all the time. The goal is to speak with less fear, less pressure, and fewer pauses. Many learners think, if I pause, that means my English is bad. But that's not always true. Sometimes you pause because you are too anxious. Sometimes you pause because you want to say the right thing. Sometimes you pause because your brain is doing several things at once. You are trying to remember words. You are trying to remember grammar. You are trying to sound natural. You are trying not to make mistakes. That is too much. So first, I want you to feel comfortable. If you are pausing a lot now, that doesn't mean you are bad at English. If you are pausing a lot now, that doesn't mean you are bad at English. It just means your speaking system needs more practice. And the good news is that if you practice the right way, you will become faster. Now, let's talk about why learners pause so much. One big reason is this. Many learners try to build every sentence from scratch. They don't speak using ready-made chunks. They don't use easy patterns. They try to build every sentence word by word. And that takes time. Imagine this. Someone asks you, "What did you do this morning?" Now you probably know the answer. Maybe the answer is easy. But inside your mind, something like this happens. First, you think about your morning. Then you think in your native language. Then you try to transfer that idea into English. Then you search for the correct tense. Then you think, do I say I went or I have gone? Then you think, is this sentence correct? And after all this, you finally speak. No wonder you pause. This is very common. Many learners do that. But if you build every sentence from scratch, speech will always feel slow. Fluent speakers don't always build from scratch. They use familiar patterns. They use language they know well. They use ready-made phrases. Ready-made phrases are groups of words that stick together. For example, I think, honestly, the problem is, something I've noticed is, well, it depends. I'm not sure, but these small chunks help your mind move faster. You don't need to build the whole sentence from nothing. You already have the beginning. You already have the path. And this changes everything. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine someone asks you, "Do you like working from home?" If you start from scratch, you might pause. But if you start with a ready-made frame, it becomes easier. "I think working from home is great because now you are moving, right?" Or, "It depends. If I need quiet, I like working from home. But if I want to talk to people, I prefer the office." Do you hear the difference? The sentence isn't very difficult, but it is smooth. It moves step by step. That is what we want. And this is another reason why learners pause a lot. They translate everything. This is a very big point. Now, let me be fair. Translation is not bad. Translation is natural. Many learners do it. And sometimes it can help, especially in the beginning. But if you translate every sentence, your speech becomes heavy and slow. Why? Because translation adds an extra step. You don't just think about the idea. You first think about the idea in your language. Then you look for its English version. That means your brain carries extra weight. Imagine you see a cup of coffee in the morning. A fluent speaker might think, I need coffee. Very direct, very fast. But a learner who translates might first think of the sentence in their language, and only then say it in English. That small delay happens again and again, and over time it becomes a habit. So, what can you do? You can start with very small moments. You don't need to stop translating completely in one day. That would be very hard. But you can slowly teach your mind to connect English directly to life. For example, when you open the window, you can say, "It's cold today." When you sit down to work, you can say, "I need to focus." When you look at your phone, you can say, "I have 3 messages." You see, these are small sentences, but they are powerful. Why? Because they connect English to your real actions, to real things, to real moments. This helps your mind think in English more directly. Now, let's talk about another reason why learners pause. Okay, this is very common. They want to be perfect. Yes, this is very important. Many learners don't just want to speak, they want to speak perfectly. They want a perfect word, perfect grammar, perfect pronunciation, perfect sentence structure. And of course, it's good to care. But perfectionism creates pressure, and pressure slows you down. Sometimes a learner knows an easy way to say something, but they don't say it. Why? Because they are searching for a better word, a more advanced word, a more impressive word. That searching creates silence. For example, you might want to say, "I was very tired." That sentence is correct, clear, natural. But then your brain says, no, maybe I should say exhausted, or maybe I should say drained, or maybe I should say wiped out. Then you pause. Then the moment is lost. Please pay close attention to this point. Simple English is powerful English. If you can say something clearly, that in itself is a success. You don't always need the best word. You need a useful word. You need a word you can say quickly and clearly. This is one of the biggest secrets of speaking fluently. Fluency comes before advanced speech. First, you build fluency. Then, you build style. If a learner tries to sound advanced too early, they may stay silent. So next time you speak, allow yourself to be simple. Say, "I'm tired." Say, "I don't know." Say, "I like that." Say, "It was hard." These are not weak sentences. They are real sentences. Now I want to share a big idea with you. Fluency is not magic. Fluency is not something that some people have and others don't. Fluency is not just a talent. Fluency means speed with familiar language. Let me say it again. Fluency means speed with familiar language. When language becomes familiar, your mind can use it faster. And when a sentence pattern becomes familiar, your mouth can produce it more easily. So, if you want to speak with fewer pauses, don't just study more words. Practice English in patterns. Practice English in phrases. Practice English in sentences that you can use again and again. Let's take one frame. I am trying to. Now see how many things you can say with it. I am trying to speak more clearly. I am trying to learn new words. I am trying to read every day. I am trying to feel more confident. The same frame, different meanings. That is smart training. Instead of learning random words one by one, you learn how English moves. Very good. Before I finish, I want to leave you with this idea. Speaking English without pausing too much is not about becoming someone else. It is about practicing differently. It is about making English lighter, simpler, and more automatic. So this week, take it easy. Use short answers. Use sentence frames. Practice one idea in different ways. And, most importantly, keep speaking. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the English Podcast. See you next time. Keep learning, keep practicing, and keep believing in yourselves. Goodbye for now.